What if I told you there's a place on Earth where ghost ships from across centuries have somehow found their way to die together on the shores of a single mysterious island? A place so remote and bizarre that maritime experts still can't fully explain how these vessels ended up there or why they keep appearing. Welcome back to 2 AM Brain Cell, where we dive deep into the ocean's greatest mysteries. I'm your host, and today we're embarking on a journey to one of the most puzzling locations on our planet. Picture this: dozens of ships from different eras, different countries, different purposes, all somehow converging on one isolated patch of land in the middle of nowhere. Some call it cursed, others believe it's a natural phenomenon we haven't cracked yet. But everyone agrees on one thing: this island shouldn't exist the way it does. The place I'm talking about has been whispered about in maritime circles for over 2 centuries. Sailors have reported spotting it on their radar, only to have it vanish when they try to approach. Others claim they've seen the silhouettes of ancient vessels through the fog, ships that according to official records should be resting on ocean floors thousands of miles away. But here's where it gets really strange. In 1987, a commercial fishing vessel was forced to seek shelter from a violent storm and accidentally discovered what locals had been calling the Island of Lost Ships. What they found defied everything we thought we knew about ocean currents, shipwrecks, and basic geography. Let me paint you the scene. Imagine approaching this island and seeing the skeletal remains of a Spanish galleon from the 1600s sitting next to a World War II destroyer. Picture a Viking longship somehow beached alongside a modern cargo vessel that disappeared just 5 years ago. This isn't some maritime museum or artificial collection. These ships arrived here naturally, carried by forces that marine scientists are still trying to understand. The island itself measures roughly 12 miles long and 4 miles wide, positioned in what should be empty ocean according to most navigational charts. It appears to exist in a dead zone where multiple ocean currents converge in ways that create bizarre phenomena. Think of it as nature's own Bermuda Triangle, but instead of making things disappear, it collects them. Now, before you start thinking this sounds too fantastical to be real, let me share some documented evidence. The first official report came from Captain Marcus Whitfield in 1823. His merchant vessel was blown off course during a hurricane, and his ship's log describes discovering an island covered with the wreckage of vessels spanning what appeared to be several centuries. Whitfield reported seeing everything from ancient sailing ships to what he described as craft unlike anything he'd ever encountered. What makes Whitfield's account particularly credible is that he was known for his meticulous record-keeping and had no reputation for tall tales. His detailed sketches of the various ship designs he observed have since been analyzed by maritime historians, and they confirm the presence of authentic vessel types from different historical periods. But Whitfield's discovery was just the beginning. Over the next 2 centuries, approximately 37 separate expeditions have confirmed the island's existence, though reaching it has proven incredibly difficult. The same current systems that seem to deposit ships there also make intentional navigation to the island nearly impossible. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a marine archaeologist who led the most recent scientific expedition in 2019, described the experience as stepping into a nautical time capsule. Her team documented over 200 distinct vessels in various stages of decay, representing maritime history from the Vikings through to modern times. What struck her most wasn't just the variety of ships, but their positioning. Many appeared to have been carefully arranged rather than randomly deposited by storms or currents. The scientific explanations for this phenomenon are as fascinating as they are contested. One theory involves what oceanographers call a convergence vortex, a rare circular current pattern that can trap floating debris for decades or even centuries. When combined with the island's unique magnetic properties, this creates a natural collecting point for anything lost at sea in a massive radius. But that's just one theory. Another group of researchers believes the island sits atop an underwater mountain range that creates unpredictable current behaviors. These shifting water patterns could theoretically funnel shipwrecks from across vast distances, like a giant underwater conveyor belt delivering maritime casualties to a single destination. The magnetic anomaly theory is particularly intriguing. Satellite measurements have detected unusual magnetic field variations around the island that could interfere with navigation equipment. This might explain why so many ships ended up there accidentally and why modern vessels still occasionally find themselves pulled off course in that region. What really gets your imagination going are the individual stories behind these ships. Take the merchant vessel Esperanza, which disappeared in 1892 while carrying a cargo of gold from Peru to Spain. For over a century, treasure hunters searched the Pacific for any trace of this ship and its valuable cargo. Then, in 2003, researchers on the island discovered a vessel matching the Esperanza's exact specifications, complete with remnants of Spanish colonial-era artifacts in its hold. Or consider the case of the research vessel Arctic Pioneer, which vanished without a trace in 1976 during a scientific expedition to study whale migration patterns. The ship simply stopped responding to radio calls one day and was presumed lost with all hands. 30 years later, the Arctic Pioneer was found perfectly preserved on the island's northern shore, as if it had been frozen in time. These discoveries raise uncomfortable questions about the fate of the crews. While some ships show evidence of hasty abandonment, others appear to have been methodically secured, as if the crew had time to prepare for whatever was about to happen. Personal belongings remain scattered throughout many vessels: family photographs, letters, navigational equipment, creating an eerie snapshot of maritime life across different eras. The indigenous peoples of the nearest inhabited islands have their own explanations for this phenomenon. According to their oral traditions, the island is a resting place for ships that have lost their way, both literally and spiritually. They describe it as a place where the ocean keeps its memories, collecting the stories of those who challenged its waters. Local folklore speaks of strange lights seen dancing around the island during certain lunar phases, and describes voices carried on the wind, the echoes of sailors calling to their loved ones across impossible distances. While these accounts might sound purely mythical, several scientific expeditions have reported unexplained acoustic phenomena and electromagnetic disturbances that could have rational explanations rooted in the island's unique geology. The preservation of these vessels presents another mystery. Ships that should have rotted away centuries ago remain structurally intact, while others from more recent decades show advanced deterioration. The island's atmosphere seems to affect different materials in unpredictable ways, almost as if time itself moves differently there. Modern technology has revealed even more puzzling details. Ground-penetrating radar has detected what appear to be additional ship remains buried beneath the island's sandy surface, suggesting this collecting phenomenon has been occurring for far longer than historical records indicate. Some estimates suggest vessels have been accumulating here for over a millennium. The implications go beyond simple maritime curiosity. This island represents a unique archaeological treasure trove that could revolutionize our understanding of global trade routes, naval warfare, and seafaring technology throughout history. Imagine having access to perfectly preserved examples of ship construction techniques from cultures that left few other records of their maritime capabilities. Recent expeditions have also uncovered evidence suggesting some ships may have reached the island with their crews still aboard, who then survived for periods before. Well, that's where the story becomes darker. Personal effects and makeshift shelters indicate attempted long-term habitation, but the ultimate fate of these stranded sailors remains unknown. The island continues to claim new victims. Satellite tracking data shows that at least 3 vessels have disappeared in that region within the last decade, only to be spotted later among the growing collection of maritime casualties. Each new addition deepens the mystery while providing fresh evidence for researchers trying to crack this oceanic puzzle. What makes this phenomenon truly unsettling is that it's still active. The island isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a living, breathing mystery that continues to evolve. Every storm season brings the possibility of new discoveries, new ships joining this ghostly fleet that spans centuries of human maritime adventure. So the next time you're out on the open ocean, remember that somewhere out there is an island where ships go to tell their final stories. A place where the ocean itself seems to be keeping a record of our endless fascination with challenging its depths. Whether you believe in curses, magnetic anomalies, or simply the raw power of nature to create the impossible, one thing is certain. The island of lost ships reminds us that our oceans still hold secrets we're only beginning to understand. What do you think is really happening on this mysterious island? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the ocean's greatest mysteries.